I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do because it's really interesting. But I noticed that the calendar says 2025 and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley.
Quit talking about Kennedy, man. It was a long time ago. Quit talking about Kennedy, man. Well, don't bring up Jesus to me then. The JFK files are released. Are we any closer to the truth? I suppose we must be a little bit. Curiously, Ben Shapiro says that the truth is irrelevant and that he's not interested in it, and I'm surprised by that. Let's get into it together.
Sort of conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right. The kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask, who really killed JFK? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told. I know not to trust the authorities. You're like, well, that's fine, but do you have like any evidence? Like evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you? You're part of it. The reason that you're so defensive about all this is, I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do because it's really interesting, but I noticed that the calendar says 2025 and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say not an enormous amount.
I disagree with Ben Shapiro there because I feel that the murder of JFK might be a pivotal moment where the power behind the throne, or the presidency in this instance, asserted itself in an attempt to maintain, for example, the war machine. And you've heard the theories, don't need me to describe them to you. But the murder of James Garfield and William McKinley, maybe those things are relevant. Maybe we should be operating on an eternal timeline where we look at what happens materially and politically down here in the empire as insignificant compared to what takes place in the kingdom. But if you care about politics, and Ben Shapiro does, certainly more than I do, then you should care about who killed JFK because it's likely an indicator of where true power is located. Now, if you're a partisan person and you care only about arguments that as they pertain to the left or right, then maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe the murder of JFK is important on that basis. But I don't believe that the difference between left and right are the significant differences. I believe the real difference is people that believe in God, inverted commas God, for the purposes of this, and people that don't, that believe in rationalism and materialism. Now, Ben Shapiro, like me, is a devout believer. Now, the reason that I relate that to JFK is I feel like in the 1960s, a lot of important people got assassinated. JFK, RFK Sr., Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I believe that America was at a pivotal point in its history there. Perhaps America's always at a pivotal point because America is the apex of what's possible if you attempt to build a nation on Christian principles. Maybe that's what's significant about America, certainly what I believe to be significant about America. Now, some people, presumably non-Christians, would say America's not built on Christian principles, it's built on, universal principles, but they are Christian principles, like they're influenced by Thomas Paine, Hobbes, all sorts of like literal Christian writers, lots of important and significant Christians set up your nation. All the founding fathers, I think, all were Christian. I don't know for a fact. I'm not even from there. But why I believe America is important is because it is an opportunity to see what Christianity looks like in government. And whilst you have to accept the idea, render unto God what is God's, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, I believe that those events in the 60s were the first time in the modern technological age that we saw how imperialist power asserted itself against the will of the people, i.e. a democratically elected president. Let's have a look at these posts from Ian Carroll on Ben Shapiro's comments. Now, why would Ben Shapiro have such a blatantly atrocious take on JFK? No evidence. Bro, there are mountains of evidence there was a conspiracy and cover-up. This was America's president, the rise of the intelligence state to power. I wonder why Ben would say this. So Ian Carroll is, I presume, alluding to the idea that the murder of JFK is connected to Israel. Here's Simon Godak. Uncomfortable truth. JFK wanted to strip the CIA of its autonomy, force AIPAC, formerly AZC, to register as a foreign agent, block Israel's nuclear ambition, and challenge the Federal Reserve's grip on US currency. That's why he was assassinated. People use the murder of JFK to highlight the conspiracy theory or sort of geopolitical idea that's most important to them. If you watch Oliver Stone's pretty brilliant film where Kevin Costner played the attorney investigating the murder at the time, it's clear that there was potential involvement from Cuba, anti-war, CIA, deep state. And I wonder if you guys believe that Israel in particular and specifically warrants and needs further investigation, as Ian Carroll clearly believes. I wonder, because when I start to examine Israel, the establishment of settler colonies, the atrocities in Gaza, I do feel like, actually, well, what is the United States? What is England? Like, if you want to pull the threads of who's allowed to have a country, you might find out that no one's actually allowed to have a country. And if you don't want to go down that path and say, well, people are allowed countries, then why are Israel specifically not allowed a country? Because it was in the 1940s instead of in 1787. Because it's in, what's the name of that coffee? 1757. Is there a cut-off point to when you're allowed to have a country? I don't know, man. Again, my position is ultimately, if you don't believe in God, you don't really have a podium upon which to build any arguments that require righteousness and justice as their points and fulcrums. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and chat? More important than any of that, if you can, please stay free. We've always believed in empowering voices, no matter how unpopular. Now we're taking the fight to the next level. When major advertisers conspired to pull their dollary dues, even brands like Dirty Dunkin' Donuts, which I think of as being a bit like the Dunkin' Donut of that Tesla guy that wiped his hand on his butt. Remember him, this guy? Dunkin' Donuts is the donut equivalent of that. The free speech hating pigs, claiming that Rumble had a right-wing culture. How dare they? To strengthen this mission, we're excited to offer you Rumble Premium, a completely ad-free experience with exclusive benefits for viewers and creators. You'll find exclusive content from creators like Russell Brand. Hey, I'm him. Dr. Disrespect. That's my actual doctor. Timcast. Yeah, Timpo. The Mug Club. Yeah, go on, Crowder. We're going to come there. We're going to go on that show. It's more than a subscription. It's a stand for free speech. You're subscribing to freedom. Your voice matters. Join Rumble Premium for a very limited time. You can get $20 off the annual plan using the code RumbleLive. Visit rumble.com/premium and claim your special sale discount today. Together, we can turn the tide. Whether you join Rumble Premium or simply keep watching, your support helps keep free speech alive. Join Rumble Premium and help keep free speech alive, baby.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.